afternoon. Good afternoon. Hope everybody's having a great day. Welcome. Welcome to all of our guests here today as well. On behalf of the Pro Football Hall of Fame and the Board of Directors of the Pro Football Hall of Fame Luncheon Club, I call to order the 28th meeting of our 61st year of the Pro Football Hall of Fame Luncheon Club. Invocation today, followed by our Pledge of Allegiance, will be given by Galen Oaks II from Amherst Community Church.
Would you bow with me, please? Our God, we bow before you just to take this moment to humbly say thank you. We thank you as we've come through Holy Week. We thank you for the reminder of your great love for us and great sacrifice for us. We thank you for the bounty of this earth you've provided. Thank you for the good food we've enjoyed. And for times like this to gather with friends, form new friendships, and foster existing relationships. Ask your blessing upon this group, this club, and their goals. We thank you for the leadership. Thank you for our speaker today. Ask your blessing upon her. Thank you for all that she does, not only for this organization, but for the community as well. And so for all these things today, we say thank you. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right,
thank you. What's that? All right. Turn off your cell phones. I know. Again, I want to introduce the guests here at the head table. So, to my far right, we have. We added someone here. Threw me off. Wade Hosteller, he is our financial secretary. And in between them, Walt Downing. Thank you for being here, Walt. And then obviously you heard from Galen Oaks, our minister. To my far left, the 2023 General Chair from last year, Todd Hawk. And our speaker today, Kim Davenport. I want to thank all of our sponsors that we have throughout the year. Liberty Ford, Wilkshire Golf Course, Aultcare's Primetime Health Plan, the Marion Motley Memorial Fund Scholarship, and Dr. Peter Ferguson, Chiropractic. Some announcements for you today. Was handed a few things here, so I'll add these. But before I get started, I don't know if he's back there or both of them are back here. I want to thank three gentlemen that certainly have been a big part of our club this year in really promoting us and writing good articles and covering what we do. Steve Dorshek, who is with the repository. I don't know if Steve's here. I know he slips in at some point. So I want to thank Steve. Joe Scalzo, who's with Crane's Business. Joe writes great articles and is here on regular time. And then right down front here, TJ Downing with Stark Media. Videotapes all of our events, and want to thank all three of those gentlemen for a job well done. Thank you. Make sure you check out the Browns exhibit. I know we mentioned that. It is, again, on a limited basis over at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Your membership does get you in, so if you want to just go over there and see that, you can even stop in the store and get a discount in the store as well. So take advantage of that if you can. Reminder, the Marion Motley Memorial Fund Scholarship deadline is May 1st. The recipient of the scholarship must be a descendant of a club member. Okay, if you are looking for more information, we do have some information here. It's been online. RJ can answer questions about it. Tim Richard will have some of these afterwards if you want to complete them and bring them back. It's important that we get this done here before May 1st, so that's the deadline for the Marion Motley Scholarship.
Do they have to live in Stark County?
They don't have to live in Stark County, but they have to be a descendant of a member. All right. The Final Four is set. If you guys have been watching the basketball, the teams are UConn, which, boy, they look good. Alabama, Purdue, and NC State. So I hope your brackets are still intact. Mine certainly isn't. Happy birthday to Jimmy Morehouse. Jimmy, happy birthday. I won't tell everybody you're 63. And then also received this letter. RJ handed it to me today. If you remember BJ Duckworth, who spoke last week, all of our speakers get a speaking fee. BJ turned around and donated that fee to the Sandusky County Communities Foundation. They sent us a letter, and he did that on our behalf. So thank you to BJ, and that's very kind of him to do. All right, our 50-50, $160. Now there were two tickets, two different, we ran out of one, we had to start another one. Same chance of winning. All right,
Green and yellow.
we're all white. Got it? Yeah, friend. Thank you. It's a white ticket. I can see that. 657-919. Ozzy has your money. Right over here, Ozzy. 657-919.
Now I gotta borrow for this.
Next week's speaker is Walsh University men's basketball coach Jeff Young. So it should be interesting to hear from Jeff. It'll be good. He's been here before, so it'll be good to hear from Jeff. Make sure it's all there. Okay, now to introduce our speaker today, please welcome the 2023 General Chair, Todd Hawk.
Well, my notes are in trouble. Good afternoon. See, I knew you guys were waiting for a little while. The good news is you don't have to listen to me speak this year. You get someone better. So I just get to introduce this wonderful lady who I got to work with last year and get to know, and she's a great person to have as the general chairman this year. Kimberly Davenport is a lifelong resident of Canton. She resides in Plain Township with her husband, Pastor Tamir Davenport of True Light Christian Ministries, and their children, Tamir TD and Alexandria Lexi. She's a graduate of the University of Akron and Cleveland State University. Kimberly is the Director of Culture, Diversity, and Engagement for the Shears Foods, where she has been employed for 17 years. Kimberly served as the Hostess Committee for 19 years before being chosen to serve as the 2023 General Vice Chair of the Enshrinement Festival. She's excited and proud to serve as the 2024 General Chair of the Pro Football Hall of Fame Enshrinement Festival. She's a graduate of the 24th class of Leadership Stark County, member of the 20 under 40 class of 2010, 1 year before my class. Member of the Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Inc. Stark County Alumni Chapter and an avid supporter of the enrichment program of Stark County. She recently completed her second term on the Canton Regional Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors and currently sits on several boards and committees, including the United Way, Stark County Manufacturing Workforce Development Partnership Board, it's a mouthful, Black College Football Hall of Fame Classic Planning Committee, and the Stark County Community Moving Forward. Kim Davenport.
have the privilege to call you guys to let Steve know he is now in the class of 2024 Hall of Fame.
Oh my God, that's so awesome! Yay, baby!
Welcome to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Number 374. Congratulations.
With this class, 378 members of the Hall of Fame. That's it. 378. Millions and millions who have played this sport. You're number 372. Congratulations.
Thanks for being here.
It is truly, truly special.
I'm still a little shocked, you know what I mean? Like, it happened. I don't think it's gonna settle in until later on tonight.
And this is how I feel, then the opportunity to get when you stay in school, we can practice hard, right? You give it your all.
It's time to bring him home. I'm a part of it. You came in, put your head down, you work, you talk, your play, your work ethic. It spoke louder than any word that can ever be said. You deserve every last bit of it.
We want to welcome you to football heaven.
Every time I see that video, no matter what year it is, it just does something for me. Dwight Freeney, Devin Hester, Andre Johnson, Julius Peppers, Patrick Willis, Randy Gradishire, and Steve McMichael. They make up members number 372 through 378 of the Pro Football Hall of Fame class of 2024. Let's give them another round of applause. As Todd said, my name is Kimberly Davenport. I am the 2024 General Chairperson for the Pro Football Hall of Fame Enshrinement Festival. That's a mouthful. And I'd like to thank Todd for that introduction. And I'd like to thank you for inviting me to speak in such a special space where so many famous people have once stood. And so I don't take it for granted at all, not at all. I'm a 21-year volunteer with the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and I have spent 19 of those years with the Hostess Committee. My journey started back in 2004 when a good friend of mine named Yolanda Tolson called me up and asked me if I wanted to just help out on her little committee. And I said, sure, I'll give it a try. You know, I didn't know what I was getting myself into. So my first assignment, I was assigned to be on the stage at the enshrinement. And I had two responsibilities. One, make sure that the enshrinees had everything that they needed. And two, make sure that Chris Berman never ran out of Diet Coke. But I remember distinctly watching Barry Sanders as he sat in a corner in the back, like a back row. And he had his entire speech on a little 3x5 note card in tiny little letters. And he's reading it over. It was like he was trying to memorize it. And he looked up at me very nervously, and I just smiled at him and I said, you're gonna be just fine. You're gonna be just fine. And he was. And it was it was something else to see those men on that stage about to take the podium and give the biggest speech of their lives. It was just absolutely wonderful. I had no clue what I had just really basically gotten myself into. So, as I said before, I have served 19 of my 21 years all with the hostess committee on the Hall of Fame side. See, there's two sides. There's the chamber side and there's the Hall of Fame side. And so after I served as a stage hostess, I then moved up. I got promoted. And I then got promoted to the reunion class. And so I was in charge of two returning Hall of Famers. One was Lenny Brown. I'm sorry, Lenny Moore, and his wife Edith. And so I took care of them for the weekend. The other person was the widow of Roosevelt Brown. Her name is Linda Brown, and he had passed just a year before. And so my job was to hang out with them the entire weekend, make sure they got to where they needed to go. And we really struck up a good friendship. And every year, Linda comes back and she looks for me. She called me just 2 weeks ago and she said, "You are the general chair. I am definitely coming back just so I can hang out with you." So I've created a lot of wonderful relationships with these families over the years because our job as hostesses, which most people don't know, the hostesses, we get the most up close and personal with the immediate families of the new class. And the drivers, as Frank is a driver, the drivers are the other ones that get up close and personal. But the hall has made several improvements over the years in reference to how we can improve their experience, their visit when they come to Canton or to the Hall of Fame city. One of the things is, back in the day, the hostesses used to ride on the buses with the families, and we went on the buses everywhere. And I think it was after Jerome Bettis got in, because his wife said, "You know what? The hostesses, they need to have their own cars." And that next year, we had our own cars.
All right.
And so now the hostesses are able to transport the immediate family members. That's the wife or the girlfriend, the personal assistant, the children, and sometimes some siblings. It just depends. We are able to transport them to all of the events. We kind of let them know what to expect. One of the other things that the hall has instituted is we are able to have several conversations with the families before they come to Canton. And we love that because they know nothing about what to expect. When they go to the Super Bowl, and that's when the Hall of Famers have their time of getting started, they get measured for their bus and they get all their orientation. But the wives kind of, they really want some information. And so we have an opportunity to have a few phone calls with them to let them know, hey, you need to pack this, pack that. You can expect for the rooms to be a little chilly. I remember having a conversation with Tony Dungy's wife, Lauren. And they have adopted several children, and they had 3 that were still in car seats. And so we started talking, and I said, well, Mrs. Dungy, are you going to bring your car seats with you? Or can we help you with that? And she was like, oh, are you serious? You can have some car seats there? Do you know how much that would help me? And so the hall got car seats, and that made them very happy. Those little things really impact their visit. So we really take a lot of time to figure out what is it that they need so that we can answer every question that they have and we can meet every need that they have. So by the time they get to Canton, we are with them from the time they get off that plane until the time they get back on the plane. And I would say by day 2, they're sticking to us like glue because they know we're not going to get them lost. We're going to get them where they need to be. And any question or anything that they need to have, that we're going to solve it for them. One of my enshrinees was Michael Irvin and his wife, Sandy, very sweet lady. She came to me and she said they had a get-together for the wives at Glenmore, at the Glenmore Spa. And she said, well, you know, Kim, they don't really carry the lashes that I like. And I said, oh, okay. Could you go and pick up some lashes for me? I said, sure. What type of lashes would you like? And so she gave me the brand name, and the brand name was MAC. And at that time, MAC was not sold anywhere in Stark County. The closest place you could get MAC was at Beechwood up in Cleveland. Now, we have a rule that we never say no. We just make it happen, right? We just make it happen. And so I wasn't gonna say to her, well, you know, I have to go all the way to Beechwood because she's from Dallas, Texas. She doesn't understand where that is. I just said, you know, give me a couple hours and I'll have your eyelashes for you. So I get on my cell phone, I call my committee chairperson and I said, hey, I'm on my way to Nordstrom's in Beechwood to get Sandy Irvin some eyelashes. And she said, what did you say? I said, you heard what I said. And I'm on my way. And she was like, okay, be careful. So my next phone call was from Nordstrom's. And I said, hey, this is Kim Davenport. I'm calling from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. I need a pair of whatever size it was, MAC lashes for Mrs. Sandy Irvin, who is the wife of Mr. Michael Irvin, Hall of Famer. I need those wrapped and ready because I will be there in 1 hour and I'm in and out. Yes, ma'am. I got there, they handed me the lashes out the door, and I'm traveling back to Canton, and I said to myself, I sure hope she doesn't expect me to help her put these on because she's gonna be in for a world of hurt. But she did not. But that is how we go above and beyond for our guests. And that is one of the reasons why they love to come back every year, and we love to see them come back every year. The only disappointing part is when they come back that first year that they come back and they realize they don't get a hostess, they're a little upset. They're a little upset. But we have an opportunity to just kind of get to know them and make them feel at home because this is their second home. When they come to Canton every year, this is their second home. And they look forward to seeing all of us, all of you who are volunteers. They look forward to seeing us because I have been told that the service that they get here in Canton, Ohio compares to nowhere else. When they go to the Super Bowl, they don't get treated like that. When they go to other Hall of Fame or other NFL events, they don't get treated the way they get treated in Canton, Ohio. So give yourselves a round of applause. So like I said, over the years, I've had the opportunity of hosting some wonderful Hall of Famers. One of the more interesting people that I've hosted was Mr. Dave Robinson. And Dave played for the Green Bay Packers. He was coached by none other than Vince Lombardi. And he played and they won the first Super Bowl. The first Super Bowl. But you know what the most interesting thing is about Dave? Dave lives right up the road in Akron. He lives in Akron, Ohio. And I'm like, oh wow, I've never had a Hall of Famer live so close. So I have gotten to know Dave and his family really, really well. I've also hosted Dermani Dawson, Reggie White's widow, Sarah. I was her hostess. John Randall, and the thing about John is, as a hostess, whenever we get our assignment, it is our job to research them and find out all that there is to know about that Hall of Famer, stats, different things like that, because we want to be able to have a good conversation, right? We don't want to be saying something, crazy that has nothing to do with football, right? So as I watched the videos for John, and he played for the Minnesota Vikings, and John, in all these videos, he did a lot of trash talking. I mean, a lot. And I'm like, oh boy, I don't know how I'm gonna, I need to keep on my P's and Q's with this one. When he got to Canton, he was as quiet as a church mouse. And I said, So, you know, I watched all your videos and I kind of expected you to be a little bit more louder. He was like, I'm just in awe. I can't believe I'm here. I just, you know, he said, you're gonna have to give me a minute because I still cannot believe. I've known for months, but now that I'm here and it's the weekend, I can't believe I'm here. And I'm like, wow. So those videos, that not video, that's the actual time that they find out that they've been elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. How special is that? Now, I understand that the wives know, and they have to keep a secret because they are helping the hall set up all these knots. But those guys have no clue what's going on. And to see the humbleness, the tears, the joy that's on their face when they find out. And then when they get here, it's that same joy and excitement that they have. One of my favorite things to go to, my favorite event, is the Gold Jacket Dinner. And the reason why I like that is that they have the gauntlet that the guys come down after they're introduced. And the gauntlet is made up of all of the Hall of Famers that have come back to welcome this class in. And this is a time where they are going down this line and they see their icons. These are the greatest football players that they idolized. And to now be amongst them, do you know how humbling that is? I love it because they are just completely reduced to tears. You can see the hugs, and they are just floored, absolutely floored, that they are now a part of this fraternity. This is the team they can never be cut from. And so that is my favorite event. I've also hosted Derek Brooks, Tony Dungy again, Michael Irvin, Daryl Green, Richard Dent, who you've seen in the video, who was talking to Steve McMichael and his wife, Tim Brown, and many, many more. It's just wonderful to see all of these folks when they get to come. I remember when Michael Strahan was inducted, and he brought his twin daughters with him. And they just wanted to spend time with Daddy. They didn't care anything about what was going on. They were about 8 or 9. And you know, it's just touching because we tend to follow the folks that we host. And it's touching now to see that one of his daughters is in a cancer battle for her life. And I remember her at age 8 when she was here in Canton, Ohio. And so when you can put those things together and then remember to lift those folks up in prayer, because at the end of the day, they're people just like we are. So I've had a lot of memorable times, met a lot of famous people who just enjoy Cantonians. They like riding in the parades and see how many people actually get up at what time and come to the parade. They are absolutely floored when we tell them, yeah, these chairs are put out like Tuesday or Wednesday, and they'll sit there and they'll be there and no one will steal your chair. And when you come on Saturday morning at 5 a.m., your chair will be there. They have never heard anything like that. I remember when I was hosting Tony Dungy, and he had come in a day before everything was getting started, and he's such a humble man, doesn't want you to go out of your way or anything. And he came to me and he said, Kim, you know, I need a favor. Could you drive us over to a hotel in Akron? There is a man and his son that attend the same Bible study as I attend, and they took their vacation money. This is their vacation this year. They are taking the time to come and see me be enshrined into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And so I just want to take a few minutes to go over there and say thank you, because they didn't have to do that. And I thought, wow. You know, sometimes when you look at these bigger than life athletes, and sometimes you just really don't know how they would treat others, but for him to feel the need to go over and just say, thank you. Thank you for coming all this way just to support me. And I was like, well, I'll take you wherever you want to go. But I just thought, wow, what a guy. What a guy, and what a gesture. And when we got there, they were absolutely floored because they had no clue he was going to come to see them. They thought that they wouldn't get close to him at all because of how the weekend goes. And again, tears of joy on that man's part, because he just was like, I just want to be here for you. I just wanted to be here for you to let you know that I'm in your corner, and I'm so proud of your career and so proud of everything that you are to all of us at their church and then to the football community. So that was very, very, very special to me. I got promoted again and again on the hostess committee. So I became a vice chairperson, and then I became a chairperson. And with those two positions, my time from February until the end of July was very busy. That's the time when I'm gathering volunteers. If I tended to not have very many vacancies on my committee. No one wanted to leave. I had the committee everybody wanted to be on because we got the most upfront and close and personal with the enshrinees. But from time to time, there would be spaces and we would have to interview, because when we choose our hostesses, we really look for people who have a heart for people and really good customer service skills and really warm and welcoming, because that's who we are here in Stark County, right? And so we want the best of the best. And then there is a lot of other things that you have to do for your committee. We gotta fill out all these forms, we attend meetings, and then we assign the hostesses to the enshrinees. Now, from the time that they are announced until the time I make the assignments, I get little text messages. Kim, I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan and I would like this one. Kim, I'm a Steelers fan and I would like that one. And it's like, oh man. But you know, we put a lot of thought into who we put with each and every enshrinee. We look at their background, we look at who the enshrinee is bringing with them. Do they have an elderly family member with them? Well, then we have some nurses on our team that we would feel more comfortable having them there in case something happens, right? So we just look at who would be more compatible with who, and that's how we make our decisions. And so then, after we go through everything, including ordering the shirts, the credentials, everything that we have to do to make sure that all of our volunteers have everything that they need in order to do their job well. Then comes the week of enshrinement, and I kind of feel like, okay, my team is so good. You give them their family and they're off. I only swoop in when there's a problem. And there are very little problems. And so I kind of find myself like, okay, I need to be doing something. And so, you know, being a chairperson and a vice chairperson, while it is rewarding, I'm one of those people, you can tell by my bio, I'm always doing something. I need to be doing something. And my husband is like, what are you doing now? What are you doing today? Where are you going now? I kind of felt like I need to be doing something. I just kind of roaming around and asking people what they need to do. And I really found out that I am still a people person. I need to be checking up on folks. I need to understand and know that you have everything that you need. But at the same time, I gotta trust my team, right? And when they need something, then they'll call me. As a human resources professional, I found out early in my career that I'm a true people person. I need to be making sure that everybody has what they need. So the hostess committee is perfect for me. Early in my career, I served as a recruiter. And I worked for a recruiting company where they gave you the job, you found the person, and then you moved on to the next job. And after 2 or 3 jobs, I kept saying, I really want to call the first person that I found a job for to say, hey, how's it going? How you doing? You don't have time for that. You don't have time for that because you have got to be starting to find the next person their job. I didn't like that. So I'm like, recruiting is not for me because I need to be able to check up on folks. And so I moved into employee engagement. That is my sweet spot. And so at Shears, I am the employee engagement person. I plan the parties. I do all of this stuff. I plan the parties, I plan the dinners, but I also have to be the disciplinarian at times, which I think then, being an HR professional, sometimes I think that some of the choices that I got for Hall of Fame, I think it was because I was an HR person, and I can make the guys pay attention and say, hey, you got 5 minutes to get in the car, and they're going. So my time right now as general chair, I was asked to be general chair, and the day I got asked to be general chair, I had to, it kind of took me back a little bit because we were at a regional Chamber of Commerce meeting, and Jim Jordan and Denny Saunders approached me at the beginning and say, hey, can you stay behind after the meeting? We'd like to talk to you. I know you're over there chuckling, Todd. You were in on it too. Yeah, I was. And I said, sure. I had no clue what they want to talk about. So after the meeting ends, we're already at the Hall of Fame. They said, oh, let's go to the boardroom. I walk into the boardroom, and there's all these people there with big positions at the chamber and at the hall, and I'm like, okay, so as an HR person, when you walk into the conference room of bigwig people, and you're asked to come, it might not be for a good thing. It may not be for a good thing. And I sat down and I thought, okay, I'm analyzing the room and who's in the room, and I'm like, why am I in here? And then he said to me, Kim, you've been around for a long time. And I said, are you trying to say I'm old? What are you trying to say? You've been around for a long time, and we would like for you to be the vice chairperson. And I just had to think for a minute, like, what does that mean? What does that mean? And so I said, oh, okay. And then he said, and then the next year you're gonna be the general chairperson. And I'm thinking, what does that mean? What does that mean? I'm in HR, I asked for a job description. I was like, I wanna know, what am I expected to do before I say yes? Before I say yes. And if you ask Mark Prostice, he will tell you, I asked for a job description. I want to know what's all this included. So I read the job description. I said, okay, I think I could do that. But then I asked, okay, so after these 2 years are up, does that mean my time as a volunteer is up? Because if that's the case, I'm not your girl. I'm not your girl because I breathe volunteerism, and every year I so look forward to volunteering with the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And they were like, oh no, you can do whatever you want to do after that. You can do whatever you want to do. And so when I made my decision, it felt right. It felt like I just won the Super Bowl. I was, so excited. And, last year at the end of the round table, Jim Porter says, okay, you're on the clock now. And I'm like, huh? I'm on the clock. My time starts next year. He was like, oh no, you're the chair right now. Todd is done, now it's for you. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I've really just been, you know, allowing folks like Todd and Dennis just kind of walk me through, like, let me know what I'm supposed to be doing. And I have my vice chair is a lady named Vi Leggett. And so I'm not sure if there's ever been two females out at the helm at any point in time. So I'm now supposed to be showing Vi the ropes, and I'm still looking at Todd like, what am I supposed to be doing? So then he called me and said, hey, one of your first things that you need to do, you need to prepare to come to the Hall of Fame Luncheon Club to speak. And I'm like, oh, awesome. What is that? But when I did my research, I'm like, oh man, you guys have had some really famous speakers. And you want me to do what? You want me to speak in front of this group? I'm truly, truly honored. Truly honored. But as chairperson, last year, I had to really learn a lot because I had only been on the Hall of Fame side. There's a whole lot going on the chamber side. And together, we have 29 volunteer committees and over 2,500 volunteers that put on about 21 events from July 21st now until August 4th. We put those on. And some of you sitting in this room are the folks that do that. We can't do anything without our volunteers. And that's the other thing. When the Hall of Famers come and they realize that we are not paid for what we do, they are floored. Absolutely floored. Because, you know, we give them service like you get at Disney, right? And those people are paid. But we have something else that begins with a P, and that's the word passion. We have a passion for the people to come to visit us every single year. And I think that the service that we give them is what keeps them coming back. So we've got a lot of events going on. We are still in need of volunteers. If you have an interest, if you're not already volunteering for the festival, we can use you. And so if you're interested, you can go to the Hall of Fame website and click on volunteer, and there you will see all 29 committees and a little description that tells you what you're going to be doing, right? And then there's the application. So you can just apply, and someone will be calling you to let you know how you can serve. Did you know, this is what I learned last year. Did you know that our grand parade is the 5th largest parade in the United States? Did you know that? Did you know that? Oh man. So I laid that one on our CEO when I went and asked for money for a float. Like, hey, 5th largest parade in the nation. Do you know what kind of exposure we will get if we're in that parade? He was like, oh, okay. Okay. So I'm sure you know that this year the game is between the Chicago Bears and the Houston Texans. I'm sure you know that, which means that we will have a special Buckeye in the house. A special Buckeye in the house. And who was that? CJ. CJ will bless us with his presence, and I'm so excited about that. And then Carrie Underwood is going to highlight our concert for the legends. Any Carrie Underwood fans out there? Get your tickets now. Get your tickets. Get your tickets. We've also upgraded the round table. The round table this year is going to be sponsored by Certified Angus Beef. Makes me hungry every time I say it. They are going to have a tailgate before the round table. So, you know, you usually get lunch at the round table. This time it's going to be a tailgate. And they're going to have some spots where people can sit inside and outside. And then you're going to go inside for the actual round table ceremony. So that is going to be very exciting. So you want to make sure you check that out as well. So, again, we are always in need of passionate people to welcome our guests so that they have a great time. They always have a great time. they always look forward to coming back and just, it's like a reunion for them every year. But the service that we give them makes it even better. And not only are they reuniting with the fellow Hall of Famers, they're also reuniting with us, the volunteers, especially the drivers, because the drivers really get close to them. But they look forward to seeing us, and they look forward to just being a part of the Canton community for that short weekend. So again, if you have a desire, I know you have the time. I know you got the time. If you have a desire to volunteer, I welcome you. I welcome you with open arms to join our ranks and show folks how we treat people here in Stark County. Thank you. And now I'll open it up for questions, if anybody has questions. Yes,
The
sir.
round table, what does that consist of?
So the round table is, they have a stage in the middle of the room, and you will have all of the current class members come. And they come and they sit down, and it's commentated by Steve Weiss from ESPN, and they're really just shop talking. It's like what you hear on the radio, it's like what you see on TV. They talk about their stats, they talk about their favorite plays. It's really a wonderful atmosphere, because you sitting in the audience, you are up close and personal with them while they are talking to each other. It's really a great event. It is really a great event. So you should come. Get your tickets now. Yes, sir.
Talk about the rib burn off coming back.
Yes, the rib burn off is coming back. It's coming back. Let me tell you. You all don't sound so excited. I know you all attended the rib burn off when it used to be downtown, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's where you would go and you would see all of your friends that you hadn't seen all year. You'd be down at the rib burn off. So this year the rib burn off is going to be Memorial Day weekend. And it's going to be a fabulous time. So you really need to come on out to the hall. They're really getting things in order. They've already got their rib vendors lined up, and it's going to be a good time. So, you know, hey, I look at it this way. You know, a lot of us, we barbecue Memorial Day weekend, right? We get on that high grill, or we get in front of the high grill. Skip all that and come down to the rib burn off. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Has it been a difficult transition from the hall side to the chamber side?
You know what? It has not. The thing about it is getting used to the cadence of the meetings. So because the chamber side, they have their events start first. And these are big events like the Balloon Fest and the 5K and different things like that. So they are meeting right now, and they meet several times before the actual event. Whereas with the hall, we might meet maybe two times with our volunteers, but there's a lot of details. So the biggest thing is, as chair, you go to a lot of meetings. But I like learning about everything that everyone has to do, because you never understand that there is somebody up at 4 a.m. last year for the Balloon Fest and the 5K, and it's pouring down raining, and there is somebody that has to make a decision on whether or not we're going to have a race. Thank goodness that will not be me. But there are people that are the minute details that make a difference. Our volunteers are taking care of those things. So that's the biggest thing, really. Anybody else?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
I get asked this question a lot, and I know you've been doing this for a while. Who is your all-time favorite that you've worked with as far as Hall of Famers or families?
My all-time, he asked, who's my all-time favorite? I kind of have two. Tony Dungy would be number one. Tony Dungy. His family I think it's more the family that makes them the favorite for me. His family, they are just like, hey, Miss Kim, even when they come back now, I hear kids yelling for me, and it's them. Just a loving family. And then I would have to also say Tim Brown. Tim Brown was just an upstanding guy, is just an upstanding guy, great man of faith. And he just was like, Kim, just tell me what I need to do. Just tell me what I need to do. But him and his wife and their family, wonderful, wonderful folks. Wonderful folks. Yes, sir.
Do you help plan the private parties at these enshrinement times?
Oh, no. No, but I will say, now, when they come to the Super Bowl, the hall has Michelle Norris that will give them like a list of venues that they can choose from here in the city. And then usually there is one or two event planners, big event planners in the city that will help them, but usually they bring in their own personal assistants and they do all that. I have received requests for hostesses to come and help stuff bags for the guests and different things like that. Sometimes they'll ask for recommendations for babysitters because they've got some young ones that should not be at the party. But in terms of planning, oh no. Those are some real shindigs. I mean, they can take a room and just turn it into the atmosphere that looks like it's coming out of Hollywood. But yeah, no. Oh no. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
Yeah, what's the most unusual request you got when you were a host?
Let's see. Probably those eyelashes. Probably the eyelashes. That was, you know, I when she asked me for that, and I'm like thinking I'm gonna go to the drugstore until she said what kind she needed, and I thought, they don't sell that in Canton. That's when my problem solver kicks in. That's the other thing, we look for problem solvers when we interview our hostesses, because we do get some rather unusual, like, hey, I need baby formula, you know, hey, I need to go to Walmart, hey, I need to, they go to Walmart too. They do. They do. Yes, sir.
I'm curious as to the accommodations that would need to be made for Steve McMichael.
You know what, at this point, I don't know, and I think the decision is still up in the air if he's going to come. However, I will say to you, if he decides to come, whatever he needs, he will be provided. We will move heaven and earth to make sure that he is comfortable, to make sure that he has everything that he needs, his family needs, to make sure that his wife has what she needs, because she's going to have a big job on her hand. But I would also imagine that they probably will have some caregivers with them. And so what we will do is we will make sure that the hostess that gets assigned to him is a person that is going to be able to handle something like that. But at the same time, the hall is going to make sure that everything is in place for him. And I do hope he gets to come. Anybody else? Yes, sir.
I was a driver for the last eight years for the Hall of Fame, and they were staying for Holiday Inn, and I was driving for Bobby Beathard.
Mm-hmm.
So Bobby Beathard and his wife, Mrs. Beathard, came downstairs and they said, Ted, we've got a problem. I said, what's your problem? Bobby forgot his belt. So I got up and I took my belt off. Mrs. Beathard, she gave it to Bobby, and I said, if my pants fall down during this whole weekend and I'm driving you to go down to the Civic Center to have the dinner and that, I says, you got to help me out. So I said, Bobby, I said, when you get up on that stage, and there's going to be part of me going up on that stage and get that.
Absolutely.
So I says, remember, I gave you my belt so your pants don't fall down. Then after that was over, she says, Ted, I got another problem. I said, what? Mrs. Beathard, she says, Bobby didn't eat. I says, what do you want me to do? She said, can you stop by McDonald's as we're going to the hotel at Belden Village, the Holiday Inn? I said, sure. So I go in, she says, I'll just walk in. I said, no, we'll go to the drive-thru. So we go to the drive-thru, I get him his food. I said, do you want to go in the front door or do you want to go in the back door? Because they have all the autograph people that are out there. She says, you know what, I think Bobby's done doing some autographs. So we go in the back door, and that year we had red shirts on, and since he coached the Washington Redskins, they had that reddish color. So he's getting out of the car, I open up the door, he says, Ted, he says, I want to make you a deal. I said, what's that, Bobby? He says, I'm going to trade you this gold jacket and that red shirt. I said, Bobby, I can't do that. You got to get that gold jacket. It's just been such a great time, and the people that you meet, your drivers or whatever you're volunteering, it was just awesome.
Ted, thank you. Thank you for being who you are, first and foremost. Being who you are, and that's why you get to do what you do, right? But thank you for solving those problems. And those are prime examples of what our drivers do, of what our hostesses do. We make it happen, regardless of what it is. And so I thank you for being there for him, and I guarantee you, he probably would have never forgotten who you are and what you did for him and how you made him feel. Because when they come to Canton, they are kings and queens while they are here. And when they come back, they are still treated like kings and queens. Because we want them to always know that this is their home away from home, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you.
And the
Yes?
last thing that happened is Joe Gibbs was his presenter. So I'm taking Bobby down to the parade to get in line. And I said, Joe, I said, you need a hat. And I had bought a Bobby Beathard hat. So I said, I'm going to give you my hat. So he still has my hat. I wasn't buy another hat. So he would be covered up because the sun, when the sun comes out, 8:30, 9 o'clock, it comes beating down. So Joe's got my hat.
And you're not getting it back. Yes, sir, in the black, and then the sir in the red.
Have you started making plans for August 5th?
Woo. Let me tell you, if you've not been to the Gervasi Spa, you gotta go. I'm planning on being at the Gervasi Spa on August 5th. I'm serious. That's a serious plug for Gervasi Spa. If you've not been, if your wives like to go to their spa ladies, even spa gentlemen, they treat you like a queen and a king over there. Give you a nice plush terry robe, and you get whatever kind of service you want. Absolutely, I have plans for August 5th. Yes, sir, in the plaid shirt.
Maybe my memory's a little foggy, but you ever asked the Lucas to be halftime entertainment?
Ooh, that's a wonderful idea. And you know what? I don't know if they've ever been asked, but I do know that the Blue Coats have an event that is going to be going on that Monday, I believe, because the concert's on Sunday, and Monday they have their competition. So it would have to be, if they did something like that as entertainment, they may have to pick and choose, but I would definitely take that idea back to the chamber and back to the hall for entertainment, because how many people have ever seen the Blue Coats perform? They are awesome. The talent that we have right here is enormous. So that would be wonderful, wonderful halftime entertainment. I will take that idea back. What's your name, sir? Ed Mahoney. Thank you, Mr. Mahoney. I will make sure that your idea gets back to the right person.
Last question.
Last question. Yes, sir.
I'd like to know, Ted giving up the hat to Joe Gibbs, he put himself in peril. What happened to your head?
She got me another hat.
There you go.
Thank you so much for having me.